Hello everybody, my name is Star Raptor. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is based off of the hit video game franchise put out by Ubisoft. So does this film have what it takes to finally make a good video game movie? Short answer, hell no. This is one of the worst films of the year, and I'll just be blunt about it. But I do want to preface my review saying that I actually have played almost every single one of the games in a franchise, so I'm a big fan. Going into this, I had a lot invested to hopefully make this a great movie because I've had a lot of great experiences with the games. There's some moments in those games that are some of the biggest standouts in any games I've played. Okay, so a little bit about the plot of Assassin's Creed. First off, to understand the story, you have to trace it back hundreds of years. You have these two warring factions called the Assassins and the Templars, and they've been fighting and fighting up until current modern times. They're still fighting, and the Templars, which are basically the evil guys in the story, they own this company called Abstergo, which specializes in this technology called the animus, which allows them to go back in the past through people's minds that have connections to their ancestors. They can live through their ancestors. So the people of Abstergo, of the Templars, they find out there's this really powerful artifact hidden back in the 1400s, and they have to use the character of Michael Fassbender, who they pluck out of prison because his descendants is an assassin named Aguilar who knows where this object is. So the story unfolds as they use this guy to locate this object, and he also is finding out more and more about Abstergo and the Templars as it goes on, and obviously he's going to start trying to fight these guys against getting this object. And that is pretty much the story in a nutshell. I will say I want to start off with my positives, guys. And probably the only things I really liked were, first off, I thought the animus system was kind of cool. So you have this system where it basically probes into your mind, this big arm thing, and it like kind of simulates back into the past, but not really, because in your mind you're thinking you're in reality. But from the people in the laboratory, and this is where I really like this, is they actually were seeing Michael Fassbender's character Cal. He was actually like fighting with these ghosts, pretty much. That's what it looked like when he were in his point of view, his perspective. The only other thing I liked about this movie, honestly, guys, is the action sequences that kind of paid homage to the video games. So we got a lot of those eagle jumps down off buildings, wall running, a lot of use of weapons. We've seen some assassinations going on, hopefully, yeah, and we've seen just a lot of cool parkour skills. You can tell this is what the movie is about. You want to see cool parkour abilities. Yeah, this is definitely representative of the game, and unfortunately, guys, that's kind of the best parts about the movie, in my opinion. So I'm gonna just transition over to everything I didn't like about this movie. First off, they tried to take a page from Star Wars, and it was bad. They did this opening crawl where it was just like a wall of white text that just slowly went up the screen. It was just like, I don't know, I was looking at that thing, I'm like, wow, looks really cheap, because it was really cheap. So then right from there they go into basically the first scene, which is in the past. And then from that first scene, they transition out of that, and it goes right into this jarring music that just pulls you out of it, and it goes back into the modern age. And that's the only time you ever hear that kind of modern rock music or whatever it was, is that one little transition. And already I was like, I don't know what this is going for at this point. And that's kind of just when things just go, worse and worse and worse from there. Throughout the movie, it just seemed like all the environments were sterile. So, mind you, this movie jumps back a few times between the 1400s and into modern, 2016. And between both of those environments, it's just nothing inspirational. I mean, and you're in the 1400s in Spain, and everything is just a dust bowl, basically. All these, like, really neutral colors, just, like, kind of smokish kind of stuff everywhere. And then in the other side of things, the modern age, you have these all these grays, just everything, and there's not really any sense of like life. It's just really like you feel like you're in a lab, and that's exactly what it is, but it just wasn't uplifting whatsoever. Another thing I want to talk about is the characters in this, and they are very forgettable, just like the rest of this movie. Honestly, it's just like you get these characters thrown at you, and you don't know who they are, or what their motivations are. and you just don't even care about him. You know, Michael Fassbender's character, this guy named Cal Lynch, you know, he's a murderer. So right from the get-go, how do you feel any attachment to this murderer and his mission, which is basically just thrown upon him? You don't really understand what he was even in prison for, really, or any of his backstory. He's just this complete stranger. So right away I was like, I don't care about this guy. Michael Fassbender, he's a great actor and all, and that's what I thought would make the movie great, was you had Michael Fassbender casted in this thing, like, alright, he's an X-Men, a bunch of other great movies, and yeah, he just really, like, I don't know, it wasn't really his fault. It was more or less a script problem and a direction of this movie, just really didn't do anything. And then you have the other character, which is Sophie, which is the doctor that's like walking him through the process through going to the animus, and she's like really a Templar. Her father is the CEO of the company, and he doesn't really have much to do in this movie. So it's really a lot about these like characters that are just like, they kind of felt like robots, and you got these other, you know, people that are actually being experimented on. You don't really get anything about them. It's just you have these characters that aren't really doing much, and you go to a movie to, you know, experience emotional attachment, and you just didn't get any of it. Some of these people die, and you're just like, okay, like, moving on. Like, literally nothing had any effect on me whatsoever. And that also is kind of where the plot is concerned too, because it goes back and forth. You know, you see a scene with his parents, and you don't really understand until 3/4 through the movie what the hell that point was. Like, a lot of things they held off a little bit too late into the game, so for the first half of the movie you're just like, what's going on here? And it's like, literally, like, it just felt so disjointed, where I'm like, alright, where are we going with the story? I'm just sitting here not knowing what's going on. And just the pacing too, like, you'll have like the action sequences are just so prolonged sometimes, but then after that you go to like this other scene where it's just people talking in a white room, and you just can't get more like acting out of a person when they're just in this white sterile room. Something that really irked me in this movie was one of the action sequences. Okay, so you have, in modern time now, the character of Michael Fassbender and a couple of the other experiment people are actually trying to break out of this place, and you got all the security guards running in there to try to stop them. Not one of them has a freaking gun, so you have Michael Fassbender and these other assassin people picking up these weapons and just slaughtering them all. It's like, come on, guys, just do something smart, pick up a gun and just take them out. And that really bothered me. And finally, I just want to talk about, you know, the tone of this thing. There was no humor, no levity. You're just sitting through this experience and just kind of, I just started getting bored, honestly. I just really didn't even want to be there watching this thing anymore. And yeah, so I'm going to just go ahead and score this thing, guys. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. This is by far the worst movie of 2016 that I myself have watched. I had a lot of faith in this thing that it would actually do really well. Like I said, I thought Michael Fassbender would be able to elevate this movie up there with some of the other ones, and I must say, like, the Warcraft movie impressed me way more than this thing. It had way more ambition. Unfortunately, this looks like it could have a sequel. I really don't think we need one. So yeah, all in all, I cannot recommend this movie to pretty much anybody. Even if you've played the game, you might want to stay away from this movie just because the plot is just all over the place. So guys, that is going to do it for my review of Assassin's Creed. What did you think? Did you actually go out there and see this thing? Let me know in that comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to check out all things movie, video games, and Star Wars. That being said, thank you for watching, and bye-bye. So, did you like the video? Then make sure you rate it a thumbs up, and if you did that, go over there, hit that star after head to subscribe to my channel. Doing so will keep you up to speed on all of my latest content. Speaking of which, you can see a couple of my recent uploads down below. I'm also on social media, so what are you waiting for? Let's start nerding out.